Welcome back to our last video of our activity 1, tutorial questions. Remember, for you to be able to master this activity and these calculations, you need to practice. You can close up these videos and do the first activity over and over until you master it. Then you can go to activity 2 and activity 3. There are also other examples of activities in your book or in your material that you're using for the second term. I strongly advise that you also go through those ones. Now we're gonna do our question 2 as promised. It's very easy because the only thing you need to do is just apply numbers or letters into the formula and you punch into your calculator and you find yourself your answer. Alright, the formula, it may or may not be given to you at your test. Now number 2 says use information in the observation sheet form to calculate the sample size. The sample size for element 1, 3, and 5. Again, sometimes it will be asked of you to calculate it from this table or it will be given already under the question. Remember that. Alright, now they ask calculate for element 1, 3, and 2. To calculate for element 1 for all of the cycles. Right. Element 1 in cycle 1 is 30.01. Element 1 in cycle 2 is 43.20. And that's how we're going to make all the elements. We have 30.01, which we take here, our first element in our first cycle, which we're going to fill right here. It's going to be 30.01. Our second, our first element in cycle 2 is going to be 43.20. Right, and our first element in cycle 3 is 51.23, and our first element in cycle 4 it is 41.23, and the next one, which is 33.78. Remember, these numbers, I took them in the observation sheet here, where I'm using my observation time, which is the first element in cycle 1, first element in cycle 2, first element in cycle 3, first element in cycle 5, and first element in cycle 5. Alright, then the next thing that we have to do is sum this element. The sum of this element, which should give you 199.45. And that's how you do your sum of x. Before I forget, this is your formula of a sample size. The 40 comes with the formula. You have the square root, you have your n, you have your sum of x squared, and minus, you have your sum of x, and you square everything, and you divide it by your sum of x, and everything should be squared. For you to find your x squared is 30.1, you square it, which should give you 900.60, square 43.20, which should give you 1866.24. You square 51.23 should give you 2600 124.51. You square 1,699.91. You square 33.73 should give you 1,141.09. And you find your sum of the x square, which should give you 8,232.35. And that's how you go about finding your sum of x squared. From here, your next step is just applying these numbers into your formula, and your sample size for element 1, it should give you 55.56. And you will proceed for element 3 and element 5. This should be the end of these tutorials, rather online tutorials. We'll see if needed for me to do for tutorial for activity 2 and activity 3. Hope this was helpful. If you have any question, again, please do not hesitate to book a consultation with your tutors or with myself.